Hi there, and welcome to Cozy English. Make yourself a cup of tea, sit back, and relax. You're in the right place to get comfortable with English, and with comfort. This is your cozy listening practice, a gentle podcast to help you learn and grow.
If you've ever felt nervous speaking English, hesitated to join a conversation, or overthought every word before saying it, trust us, you're not alone.
Oh, absolutely. I used to freeze up mid-sentence, thinking, what if I mess up? But here's the truth. Confidence isn't about speaking perfectly. It's about speaking without fear.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into how to build confidence in yourself, especially when speaking English.
So here's what we'll cover today. What confidence actually looks like, signs that might be holding you back, and most importantly, practical ways to build seamless confidence.
And we're not just talking about theory. We'll share real-life strategies that actually work. From shifting your mindset to small daily habits that can completely change how you feel when you speak English.
So if you've ever struggled with self-doubt or felt like confidence is something you just don't have, this episode is for you.
Before we dive in, we've got something special for you. A free PDF guide with today's key takeaways, plus comprehension questions and grammar exercises to help you improve both your English and confidence.
That's right. And of course, we'll also be introducing a handful of intermediate-level words and phrases related to confidence throughout the episode.
We'll take a closer look at them later in Charlotte's vocabulary section, where Charlotte will break down their meanings and show how to use them in real-life conversations.
Hey, Evan, I'm already pumped up for today's episode. Let's jump in.
Same here, Erin. Confidence is such an important topic, and I know so many of our listeners are going to relate to this one.
All right, Evan. Before we get into the real strategies for building confidence, let's take a moment to define what confidence actually looks like. A lot of people think it means being fearless or outgoing, but that's not really the case, right?
Exactly. Confidence isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being comfortable with yourself and trusting your abilities. It's knowing that even if you make mistakes, you'll be okay.
Yes. And one big trait of confident people is that they take risks. They don't let fear hold them back from trying something new.
Right. If they're learning a language, they're the ones who speak up in class, even if they make mistakes. They venture outside their comfort zone instead of waiting to be perfect first.
And they stay optimistic, even when things don't go as planned. If they forget a word or say something wrong, they don't get stuck in embarrassment. Instead, they see it as a chance to improve.
Yeah, and that's where resilience comes in. They don't let one bad experience stop them from moving forward.
Oh, here's another one. Confident people accept compliments instead of rejecting them. Have you ever noticed when you compliment someone on their English, they immediately say, "Oh no, my English is terrible," instead of just saying, "Thank you."
Yes, and the funny thing is, they don't even realize they're doing it. But confident people? They embrace compliments instead of brushing them off.
And they make decisions without overthinking. They don't hesitate too much or second-guess everything they say.
Right. If you're constantly hesitating before speaking English because you're afraid of making a mistake, that's something that can really slow down your progress.
They also set boundaries. If something makes them uncomfortable, they're not afraid to be assertive and express their limits.
And here's an interesting one. Confident people don't pretend to be someone they're not. They don't fabricate stories to impress others. They're just themselves.
Exactly. And last but not least, they actually listen more than they speak. People assume that confident people talk all the time, but in reality, they're usually very attentive.
That's a great point. And you know what? The good news is, confidence isn't something you either have or don't have. It's something you can build.
Now, before we talk about building confidence, let's take a moment to recognize the signs that might be holding you back. Sometimes we don't even realize that our own habits are making us feel less confident.
Exactly. So, let's do a little self-check. Have you ever caught yourself worrying too much about what others think of your English?
Oh, that's a big one. A lot of learners hesitate to speak because they're afraid of being judged.
And then there's that feeling of anxiety when speaking. Even in simple conversations, you feel nervous or unsure.
And what about avoiding eye contact? That's something many people do when they're feeling unsure of themselves.
Yes. Or speaking so quietly that others can barely hear you. If you're not sure about your words, you might naturally lower your voice. But that actually makes you sound less confident.
Another one, overthinking everything. You replay conversations in your head and dwell on what you could have said differently.
Oh, I used to do that all the time. And let's not forget hesitating too much. If you constantly second-guess yourself before speaking, that hesitation can stop you from improving.
Absolutely. So if you've noticed any of these signs in yourself, don't worry. The good news is, confidence is something you can build with the right strategies, and that's exactly what we're going to focus on next. Practical ways to build seamless confidence in yourself.
Yes, because confidence isn't something you magically wake up with one day. It's something you develop through habits and mindset shifts. And the best part? Anyone can do it.
Exactly. So let's break it down into practical, real-life strategies that our listeners can start using right away.
One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting until they feel confident before they take action. But here's the secret. You gain confidence by taking action first.
Right. Instead of waiting until you feel ready to speak English fluently, start with something small. Maybe it's saying a simple hello to someone new, ordering coffee in English, or leaving a short voice message in English.
When you start small, you build momentum. The more you do it, the more natural it feels. And suddenly, speaking English doesn't seem as intimidating anymore.
And this applies to anything in life. If you want to be more confident in public speaking, don't wait until you're on a stage. Start by speaking in front of a mirror. If you want to feel confident using new words, practice them in casual conversations first.
Exactly. And that brings us to a big confidence killer. The belief that we need to be perfect before we can be confident.
Oh yes, that's a huge problem, especially for English learners. People think, I can't speak confidently because I still make grammar mistakes. But that's not true. Even native speakers make mistakes all the time.
Exactly. Confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from progress. Instead of aiming to be flawless, focus on getting just 1% better every day. One new word today, one conversation tomorrow. It all adds up.
I love that. So, to all our listeners, stop aiming for perfection and start embracing progress. Confidence isn't about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday.
And a big part of that progress comes from how we talk to ourselves. Let's be honest. Sometimes the way we speak to ourselves is just terrible. If someone else spoke to us the way we speak to ourselves, we'd probably tell them off.
Oh, totally. Imagine someone saying, "You'll never speak English fluently. You always mess up. You're not good enough." You'd never let a friend talk to you like that. So why do we let our own minds say those things?
That's why we need to flip the script. Instead of saying, I can't speak English well, say, I'm learning and I'm improving every day. Instead of, I'll embarrass myself, say, I'm brave enough to try.
Yes. The words you use shape your confidence. So be kind to yourself, encourage yourself, and watch how your confidence grows.
And one of the best ways to reinforce that confidence is through action. Confidence doesn't grow in comfort zones. You have to push yourself, but in a way that feels manageable.
Right. This is where controlled exposure comes in. It means gradually increasing your exposure to the things that make you nervous, at a pace that challenges you, but doesn't overwhelm you.
For example, if speaking English makes you nervous, start small. Talk to yourself in English. Then move to texting a friend in English. Then try speaking in a low-pressure environment, like a language exchange. Build up step by step.
Yes, and the more you expose yourself to it, the more your brain learns, hey, this isn't as scary as I thought.
Okay, here's something people don't always realize. Your body language affects how confident you feel. It's not just about mindset, it's also about how you carry yourself physically.
Oh, yes. If you slouch, avoid eye contact, and keep your voice low, you'll naturally feel less confident. But if you stand tall, make eye contact, and speak clearly, you automatically feel and appear more confident.
And there's even science behind this. Research shows that power poses can actually trick your brain into feeling more confident. So even if you don't feel confident yet, acting confident can help train your mind.
So, to all our listeners, try this. Next time you're about to speak English, take a deep breath, stand tall, and smile. You'll be surprised how much it helps.
And here's something just as important. Confidence isn't just about what you do, but also about who you surround yourself with. Have you ever noticed how being around certain people can either boost or kill your confidence?
Oh, absolutely. If you're surrounded by people who always criticize or doubt you, it's hard to feel confident. But if you're around people who encourage and support you, it's so much easier to grow.
That's why choosing the right environment is crucial. Find friends, mentors, or online communities that lift you up and push you to be better.
Yes, and if you don't have that kind of support yet, be your own cheerleader. Encourage yourself until you attract the right people into your life.
And part of building that confidence is learning not to take yourself too seriously. This might be one of my favorite confidence tips. Don't take mistakes too seriously. Instead of being embarrassed, laugh it off. It makes everything so much easier.
Yes. When you make a mistake, instead of thinking, oh no, I messed up, try saying, oops, that was funny, and move on.
And guess what? Most people don't even notice small mistakes. So stop overthinking them. Just keep going.
Well, that wraps up our conversation on building confidence, from shifting your mindset to taking action in real-life situations. We hope these strategies help you feel more comfortable and self-assured in English.
And as promised, it's time for Charlotte's vocabulary section, where we'll explore some of the intermediate-level words and phrases we mentioned today. Charlotte, take it away.
Thanks, Evan. Hello again, English learners. In this episode, Aaron and Evan used some great terms related to confidence and personal growth. Let's break down a few of them. I'll explain what they mean and give you examples of how to use them in real-life conversations. Venture, meaning to step outside your comfort zone and try something new. Example, I decided to venture into public speaking even though it scared me at first. Resilient, meaning able to recover quickly from setbacks or challenges. Example, even after failing the test, she stayed resilient and studied harder for the next one. Embrace, meaning to accept something fully even if it's challenging or new. Example, he embraced his mistakes as part of the learning process. Hesitate, meaning to pause or second-guess before doing something. Example, she hesitated before speaking, worried about making a mistake. Assertive, meaning expressing yourself confidently without being rude. Example, being assertive means standing up for yourself while respecting others. Fabricate, meaning to make up or invent something that isn't true. Example, he fabricated a story about why he was late to class. Attentive, meaning being focused and paying close attention. Example, she's always attentive in class, which helps her learn faster. Perfectionism, meaning the need to do everything perfectly, often leading to stress. Example, perfectionism stopped him from trying new things because he was afraid of failing. Overthink, meaning to analyze or worry too much about something. Example, he tends to overthink his responses instead of just speaking naturally. Cheerleader, meaning Someone who supports and encourages you. Example, she was her own cheerleader, always motivating herself to improve. That's it for today's vocabulary breakdown. Thanks for sticking with me through these words. Remember, practice makes perfect, so try using them in your own sentences or conversations today. Back to you, Erin and Evan.
Thanks, Charlotte. That was super helpful, as always.
Absolutely. And now, listeners, it's time for action. Start applying these confidence-building strategies in your daily life.
And don't forget, there's a free PDF guide for this episode with today's key takeaways, comprehension questions, and grammar exercises. Grab your copy from the description below.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow, subscribe, and leave us a review. Your support helps us keep creating content just for you.
And most importantly, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep growing.
Your progress doesn't end here. To continue advancing your English skills, click on the next video or explore the additional videos we've thoughtfully selected for you.